Hello, everyone. I am Catherine Harris, Principal Art Consultant of Creatrix Art Consulting. I am here today with Allison Cagley of Friends of Sacramento Arts. She's going to share with us about her organization and how we can get involved and help the arts in our local schools. And I'm going to let you just take it away, Allison.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I know we have about 5 folks on the call right now, so hopefully it'll continue to grow as we are talking. So I'm from Sacramento, and we are, and I have been just a little bit about myself. I've been involved in arts and education since probably fourth grade when I played a rabbit in a Winnie the Pooh musical in fourth grade. And ever since then, between that and my parents' influence, I have been passionate about music and theater and dance and drama and fine arts. So this organization started in 2019 at the invitation of the mayor of Sacramento. And they had just completed, the region had completed a study called the Creative Edge Culture Plan, and it was really looking at the creative economy and the arts and culture and the thriving of arts and culture in the region and how it compares to other cities, how the arts are supported, how artists are supported and encouraged and provided opportunity to thrive personally and economically. So with the Creative Edge Culture Plan, which is on our website under resources, if you're interested in reading it, the number one goal of the 6 goals was restore arts education in K-12. And the reason for that is because, if you think about it, if you don't start with the youngest kids in arts and culture and drama and fine arts, then they won't be the future creatives and there won't be future patrons of the arts. And so to start with them at the earliest stages, there's also the fact that only 1 in 5 school children in California are receiving arts education on a regular basis. So the crisis is real. So let's go to the next slide. If we could go to the next slide. Can you do that there? Oops.
So I've made you the host, so I think you can share it now.
Okay. All right.
Sorry to
That's
change
okay.
it up on us.
No, that's all right. I'm going to make this into a slideshow from the beginning. There we go. All right. Up, but then when I do that, I can't get to my shared screen. Let's see. Is that going to do it? I'm so sorry. Let me go back and do this
No,
really
this is
quick.
my fault for throwing it on you at the last
That's okay.
second.
No, I just have to figure out how I can do this. So we'll just do it this way and not deal with the other thing. Okay. All right. So I don't know if it'll let me start from the beginning with this, but we'll just go, we'll wing it. We'll be good.
I love
Okay.
it.
So let's see if it, all right. When I do a shared screen and I go to the next slide, please let me know if it goes to the next slide. Does it go to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So the QR code takes you to our website. And so the 4 major themes around the Creative Edge Culture Plan, so I'll go back a little bit to talk about that, and this was based on the results of interviews and discussion groups. They had community forums, interviews. You'll see kind of my notes at the bottom there. So that they had the 4 themes were Sacramento's story is rich with history, innovation, and creativity. Cultural equity is a priority. Common ground is found in prioritizing arts ed, and Sacramento wants to see investment in the arts, artists, and creatives. So actually the Creative Edge Culture Plan lives at the Sacramento City's Office of Arts and Culture. So they are also looking at the other 5 goals and how to implement those over a many-year basis with the Arts Commission and the City Council and the Office of Arts and Culture. So if you're interested, as I said, in learning more about it, you'll be able to see that on our website under resources. So,
And is there a way just so we can read it maybe a little bigger that you can share it as a slideshow?
so let's see if this will work because let me see if I can do that as a slideshow. Let's see. No, it's not. Okay. part of my challenge is if
If
and I,
not, this works. I can totally
yeah,
try to
I'm
keep
trying to
it
see
this
if I
way.
can I expand it? If I expand with my finger, does it allow that?
Yep, that works.
Okay. It's exciting. Okay, so the goals, as I mentioned, the goals in the Creative Edge Culture Plan um, are provide arts education to all school children, advance cultural equity, build upon and expand Sacramento's unique creative economy, enable Sacramento artists and creatives to thrive in their work and provide creative leadership, and celebrate and infuse all Sacramento neighborhoods and districts in arts and culture. So our organization started in January of 19 uh, to address the number one goal. So our mission, we have a board of about 12 people, and our mission is dedicated to ensuring equitable access to comprehensive arts education in TK-12 public schools in the Sacramento County, and now we're expanding out to Yolo, Placer, and El Dorado. And the reason why we're very intentional about saying ensuring equitable access and comprehensive arts education is it has to be more than 1 or 2 field trips a year to make it effective and impactful in the student's curriculum. What's interesting about public education is that the California state framework shows arts education at every grade level as a requirement, but there's not teeth in that requirement, which means that that can be cut from their budgets, different than PE or the other subject areas where they cannot cut it from the budget. So long-term, big vision is to put teeth into that framework so that it can't be cut from the budget. When we were formed, it was to look at how to have the state and the school districts fiscally responsible for providing arts education. So it's more than just, dedicated parents and PTAs providing supplemental funds, but that the school takes financial responsibility for it in the same way they do with all the other education programs. And our vision, which really resonates with everybody I talk with, arts every day for every child in every school. Again, so that way it's not a monthly thing, it's not a couple times a year, every day if the children are taught art in some way. And you think about it in terms of education, every one of us learns differently, whether it's visual, kinesthetically, orally, auditory, and the arts are one portal to infuse and engage and open up the mind of a child. And so not to have that ignores some of those learning modalities that school children have. And if you have questions, or comments, please, raise your hand, and Catherine hopefully will see that, and I'm open to questions as we go along. So this is a little fuzzy, and I will send this to Catherine so that you can have a little bit better thing. So the arts education studies show that 30% are more inclined to pursue a professional career. They're 3 times more likely to have to get a bachelor's degree, 10% more likely to complete high school and calculus courses, and 5 times less likely to drop out of school. So there's academic statistics about the why of arts education. Also, and this is not
Did we lose you, Allison?
still here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I'll move this. So the other part of it is, oh yeah, my internet was unstable. I'm sorry. So I think I'm back okay now.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. So arts education is not optional. It is essential. So it demonstrates the positive impact on the students' lives, academic, social, emotional, and we really have seen since post-COVID the trauma and the social emotional toll that being isolated for 2 years during COVID has taken on our school children. And the arts provide that mental health healing. The other aspect with California, and especially with Sacramento, is the diversity of languages in schools. If you think about your schools in your neighborhoods, there are likely 5 to 20 different languages spoken in a school, and the arts transcend language barriers. And so, how can we provide that sense of community and improve their social mental health with the arts, regardless of what language or what background that they come from? So in 2022, Prop 28 was, if you're familiar with that, that's the Arts and Music in Schools initiative. It was approved by over 65% of Californians. And what this is a permanent fund that we are working statewide and locally and regionally to implement. It is about a $1 billion a year fund that is providing additional support for schools. So 80%, we're going to get a little bit into the weeds with this. 80% of that $1 billion is to go to hire more teaching artists and more teachers, arts teachers. So there is, for those of you who are artists on the call today, there is a desperate need for certified and credentialed art teachers in our K-12 schools. We anticipate that with Prop 28, California needs 15,000 more art teachers to meet the demand of this initiative. So universities around the state, UCSU East Bay, Sac State here in Sacramento, County Office of Education, are all working together, LA, Bay Area, to provide streamlined, quick, efficient ways to get credential and certification programs completed so that we can fill that need. The $1 billion will average out to about $120 per student per year, every year. One of the things that helps the school districts not feel too much like deer in the headlights is that they do have up to 3 years to spend it every year. So this month in March, that first $1 billion is being distributed out to the school districts and to the principals. And if they say, I still don't know what I'm doing, they can take a breath and make the plans, make the strategic art plan, and then start spending it next year. And it'll be a building thing. So they'll get another $1 billion, estimated $1 billion every year, but they have up to 3 years to spend it. So it'll be a continually building fund. I hope that makes sense. And it's a historic opportunity to impact education in the schools. Again, it's not just a one-time thing. And we're working with the school districts. You know, they're still facing a lot of challenges with post-pandemic. For instance, Sac City, when they came back from the pandemic, 40% of their principals were brand new because of the great resignation and the great retirement in public education. So our role with the school districts and with arts partners is to make it easy and efficient for principals to do this. Let's see if there's anything below that. No, there isn't. So let me go to my next page. Any questions or comments, thoughts? Yep.
That's amazing. $1 billion a year. I'm thrilled that that's been dedicated.
And it's permanent. So regardless of what governor is in place,
Wow.
it'll be there. The challenge is the implementation, because again, the schools are dealing with so many different things all at once, is how to make this impactful for them and easy, because they do have to, you know, public education is a complicated world. And so they do have to be able to be accountable and work with California Department of Education to for accountability and reporting back purposes.
Wow.
So our work is about educating and activating the implementation for Prop 28. We are working with both statewide and local arts organizations, and we're partnering to really make this consistent across the board. For instance, we've been meeting since August with the California Department of Superintendent Tony Thurman, California Department of Education, to look at how CDE is staffing and implementing Prop 28 so that school districts and principals don't scratch their heads and say, who do we go to with these questions? And It's been a process. Public education is complicated. Lots of silos, lots of limitations and challenges. So it's a process that we are continually trying to push and advocate for that. So we are actually a partner with Create California. So if you go to createca.org, that is a statewide organization that we work with them as a partner along with Arts for LA, Bay Area Arts Ed Alliance, and California PTA to do webinars and trainings with school districts, principals. We had recently, back this last fall, we had a couple different statewide webinars that are available online that have been recorded. For instance, establish relationships with school leaders. And you think, what do I say? How do I say? What is it? What's a good relationship so that it's not in your face, but it's more of a partnership with a principal. And so we had a school superintendent, we had a school board member, we had a principal on that call to all talk about what are the challenges they're facing and how can we have community partners and parents more actively involved in working together to solve the problem of the lack of arts education. So those are some, and we have some other ones coming up in the future. And, one of the calls to action is for those of you, in the California area, if you are interested in becoming an active advocate with Create California, it's called the Arts Now Coalition, and that is on their website. And it's an advocacy partnership where you join the group. We meet on a monthly basis for trainings and networking and problem solving. And it helps you create a strategic plan on how you personally would like to educate, activate, and advocate for your schools or for your school districts. So that's a great, and they provide a stipend, and then they work with you on the strategic plan that you individually or you with your arts organization or your parent group can be a part of. So that's one of those calls to action. So our recent advocacy efforts that we have been doing is we expanded our role out to 3 other counties. So we're identifying and mentoring and networking with arts organizations and arts leaders in those other 3 counties. An example is Davis Unified School District in Yolo County just hired their first arts director at their district level. And she was from Benicia, had never had the role before. Nobody ever, it was brand new. She was, didn't know what she was going to be doing. And so I was able to connect her with the visual and performing arts directors at Twin Rivers and Elk Grove and Sac City and San Juan and Folsom Cordova, who had been in their jobs for many years and could help mentor and network and help her create her new job in Davis Unified. As I mentioned, we've been meeting with CDE Superintendent Tony Thurman and his staff, and we've been working at the state level to ensure that Assemblymember Anthony Rendon and Assemblymember Kevin McCarty, as well as Senator Ben Allen, who are all part of the Education and Arts and Culture committees, are well aware of Prop 28 and what's going on and how to work and encourage CDE for a successful implementation of it. We also are working and networking with California County Superintendents, staff, and working with the local school districts. So for instance, with Folsom Cordova, right after Prop 28 was approved, met with Folsom Cordova School District superintendent and her senior staff and their visual and performing arts director to talk about Prop 28 and what are they doing, what's our challenges, and how can we help. And from those conversations, their visual and performing art director, who had also been in charge of career technical and other things, had 5 different hats that she was wearing. As a result of those meetings, they redid her job, and now she's full-time arts education. So she doesn't have 5 or 6 other hats she's having to wear. So that was a great win to really make that emphasis on that. And then, as I mentioned, we're working on a statewide advisory council for Prop 28 with CDE. So we're going to be putting together a statewide group from various education organizations and arts organizations from across the state to work with Superintendent Thurman to ensure a successful partnership between the state and all of the school districts. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. Coming up, we started last year, we realized school teachers are not honored enough. And so we started last year, and this will be our second annual, recognizing arts teachers and arts leaders in our community. And so, so March 14th, coming up at 6 o'clock at the Sophia, we're going to be honoring, last year we honored the superintendent of Sacramento County, Dave Gordon. We honored the mayor of Sacramento, a couple others. And then this year, and then teachers. And then this year, we're honoring Dr. Winlock, who's from Sacramento County Office of Education, has been very involved in arts education for many, many years. And then arts teachers from about 6 different school districts so far. And then we're also going to be featuring a jazz art combo from one of the local high schools, a group of 3rd graders that are playing recorders, and then also a fine arts presentation. So, so if you're here, if you're in the Sacramento region, if you would love to come and enjoy the evening, doors open at 6 and the program starts at 7. And it's also a fundraiser to help us continue our work at the state and local level.
How fun.
Yeah, so it's very fun. So if you go on our website, you'll be able to see under events, photos from last year, and then more information about the event. And if you're interested, we are still accepting sponsorships of anything from 500 to 5,000. So, you know, we're a nonprofit organization, so we're always looking for those opportunities. So if you would like to come, either to purchase a ticket or be a part of that, that would be lovely.
Great, thank you.
So your call to action, I know this is a quick call here. Your call to action is follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We put a lot of information out, both just about our organization, but also what's happening on a local and statewide and national level about the arts in our public education. And we also help promote other arts organizations and what they're doing, especially when it comes to providing the arts to school children and youth. Check out the resources on our website at friendsofsacramentoarts.org and the Create CA website. And as I mentioned, you know, if you would like to become an advocate for your schools, I would love to talk with you about that. And it's a California advocacy program. We also do have a monthly donor or one-time donor opportunity if you would like to help support our organization. We're completely philanthropic. We don't get any state funds. No big corporate donors other than some of the corporates that are in our event program. But we do rely on individuals to help support our efforts, our long-term efforts. So there's some things in here. The Prop 28 toolkit. So there will be a toolkit coming out in March that provides all sorts of different sample budget forms, different programs, different materials that principals and school districts can use. We also, for those of you that are artists out in the Zoom universe here today, we do provide fiscal sponsor services. So for instance, right now I'm working with a group in Yolo County and a group in El Dorado that received a grant, a city grant, and they did not have their own 501c3. So we are acting as their nonprofit fiscal sponsor. So we receive the grant money, manage it for them, and then process all of their expenses. So and then there's a small admin fee to do that for them. So if you have an arts project and you would like to, apply for a grant, both statewide or local, we can work with you as a fiscal sponsor for that. We also, you can sign up for workshops that are going to be in the spring with Create California. And then there's my information. So super quick presentation here. I would love some questions or comments. Um, any kinds of thoughts that folks have, and what your experience has been with the arts and with children, and the impact that you've seen, or the lack of impact.
Thank you. Let me see if I can bring back our screen so I can see everyone.
I'm going to stop share.
Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. And I'll bring up the chat in case anyone is unavailable to speak. They can always share their questions in the chat. But thank you so much. I actually am so thrilled to have connected with you and to learn about this organization because I was not familiar with Prop 28 or the work that you're doing. And it's so pivotal to the enrichment of our community and the fact that they've dedicated these funds and how important it is for us to make sure that those are used wisely and
Right.
the best benefit to the children. So I'm thrilled that you're involved with this and sharing it with us today. I do have a few questions, but if anyone wants to jump in, feel free to share your questions as well. Does anyone have something that they want to ask Allison before I dive in?
I was hoping to. We mentioned, and I've seen a lot that the teaching artist language is looking a lot like artists will have to be certified of some degree to work with the Prop 28 and schools going forward. And you mentioned that there's some help going on or some organizing to streamline that process, make it a little bit easier or more accessible for working artists. Will Friends of Sacramento Arts be in charge of some of those programs or pointing to those programs in the future?
Well, we could, yeah, we're not doing them ourselves. Just so you know, I am a one-person shop. So with a board. So yeah, we won't be doing them ourselves. I'm not a credentialed teacher myself. My employment background has been development in arts and culture and education the last several decades. But what I can do is send to Catherine some information that she can then send out to you about Sac State. Michelle, are you in Sacramento?
I am.
Okay, so Sac State, they're doing some programs, County Office of Education. From my latest understanding, it includes the education programs can include both during the school day and after school programs. So the other part of it that's going to be really critical, and they're still working on it, is a waiver. So the way Prop 28 is structured, 80% is to be payroll related within the school district's accounting system, and 20% can be for programs and materials. So the waiver will allow school districts to use the 80% for other than payroll. So that's going to be critical since there aren't enough teaching artists or credentialed arts teachers to hire.
Right.
So in fact, when I met with Folsom Cordova a year or so ago, they were like, well, we're trying to find those teaching artists as fast as we can before they're all gone. So that's the waiver is going to be critical so that those of you who provide and aren't necessarily credentialed teachers can provide that through that other 80%. So
Excellent.
because
Okay.
from my understanding, a teaching artist, if you don't have a credential, then a credentialed teacher has to be in the classroom with you. So then, what I can do, I'll also send to Catherine. I have some other links for that. And then are also on our website under resources, you'll find a one sheet, both in English and Spanish, about Prop 28 that you can, it's just kind of really condensed since Prop 28 is so big. But I can also send you the actual link on the California Department of Education website to see all of the crazy language that's a part of public education. But I will send you some information about Sac State and County Office of Ed.
Thank you so much, Allison.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Anyone else have any questions that they want to have answered while we have Allison here live? I saw another one of you go off mute, so.
Yeah, and the arts, when we think about the arts, it includes, everything from, music, to the typical ones we think of: music, drama, dance, fine arts, but also digital media. I mean, it has a pretty broad arts spectrum to it. So video production. Several years ago, we were able to provide grants to 2 high schools in Elk Grove for digital media equipment. So it really
Oh, wow.
has a broad spectrum for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so important. I know one of the gals, she's not on here live, but that has registered for the event is a teacher in schools. And she's an artist herself and infuses that way of learning into every area of study, including math and whatever she may be teaching in the moment. And it makes such a difference for those visual learners or the ones that
Oh,
need to be engaged in different ways. So to have
right.
artists and teaching artists and all of this involved is such an important part of the process for kids to learn.
Well, and the other part of it too is helping, long term, helping regular credentialed teachers who are, general ed, K-6 teachers be comfortable in using art as a way to teach history, science, math, language arts. So it's not just one, siloed piece, but how do you use music to teach math and, just some different ways to do that. For those of you in the greater Sacramento region, and actually beyond, Clara Midtown, CLARA midtown.org, has developed a digital program called Clara Classroom, which can be used in classrooms as recorded video work that teachers can plug and play to infuse art into their classroom. They also are in the process of developing curriculum for K-8, I think it's K-8, in all the areas of arts, adhering to the California State Framework, and that they can then use that to really spread out beyond just California, but statewide, so and nationwide. So claramidtown.org is another one that you could access.
Thank you. And I'm curious, I know we have a lot of registered participants that are not in California. I'd love to hear more about your involvement and how this got started in case someone wants to do something similar in their own state. How did that begin?
Well, as I mentioned, part of it began with the mayor and with they wanted to see besides just okay, arts is nice. They wanted to see how in the greater Sacramento region, how arts and those of you that are artists know that many times artists are underappreciated and under recognized for the economic and cultural impact that they have in Sacramento in the region, and so in looking at that and looking at, well, what does Austin do? What does Denver do? How do we compare with other cities? And so it was looking at the city government as the nexus of this big study. And then I think if you're in another state, I would encourage you to go to your local county school district office of education in your county and look on their website. Do they have arts even listed on their website? In a more granular level, go to your local school district and a website and look to see. A lot of times arts is under kind of the umbrella of career technical education, CTE. So to look on that website, look up your framework. So you can look at your Department of Education in your state to see, I mean, it can be a rabbit hole of research, but to see where arts is in the framework. Some states are doing much better than others, but to really look at that and then talk to your principals in your schools about, especially if you have children in school age children, go to your principal at your school and ask, what does art look like in your school? How can I help you? If I'm an artist, how could I maybe help you include more arts in a weekly or monthly or daily experience? But make yourself known that you want to be a partner in advocating for arts. Americans for the Arts is also another website that you can go to. They just finished and they are on a nationwide tour. It's called AEP6, and that stands for Arts Economic Prosperity. And it was 6, meaning it was the 6th study. And so it's a nationwide study. Sacramento was one of the local ones to participate. And it's to look at the arts and economic impact. So for instance, if you're going to buy a ticket to a theater production and you're driving you're parking in a public parking garage, you have to pay for parking, you're going to a local restaurant. What are all those indirect ways that you are driving the economy? For instance, here in Sacramento, with one of the larger performing arts organizations, they actually have discounts at half a dozen different restaurants that are within walking distance of that theater, because they know that the week that they have shows, that drives, I mean, getting reservations for restaurants is a challenge because it's so impacted. So even just looking at AEP6 on the Americans for the Arts website to see and use that as a part of your reason why arts is important, not only for our mental health and our cultural expression, but it's an economic driver. So it's just as important as other parts of our economy.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. I'm also curious with the just lost my train of thought. I apologize.
That's okay.
I was going to ask, here in Sacramento, I know I was on with the mayor years ago with the For Art's Sake initiative.
All right.
And working on that, and was part of the leading group that got Second Saturday going among the galleries and just getting them all on
Right.
board for the same day, same time. So Sacramento, it's been an ongoing effort for years to bring art into the economy, into the forefront. And again, it starts with the schools and exposing the kids to that. I'm curious, you started this in 2019, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
What have you found have been the most successful programs or employment or results from activating this in the schools? What seems to be a good model that maybe others could use for their proposals?
Well, I think a couple things. One, I think it's about coalition building. And so one of the things that the County Office of Education did with us as a partner and the City of Sacramento and the Sacramento Region Community Foundation is we're successful in getting $1 million grant from the state to bring together in what they call community of practice, and they meet once a month, and it's all 14 school districts in the Sacramento County area, and it's now expanded out to some of the other adjacent district counties. But it's bringing together those district arts representatives and 14 or 15 of arts organizations that are providing arts education in K-12 in some capacity to meet on a monthly basis and talk to each other and figure out what is it that the arts organizations are doing, how can they package it in the language that a school district receives and understands. Because a public education vocabulary is very different than an arts organization vocabulary. So how do we work together so that when an organization can come to a district and say, we have this portfolio of programs that we can provide for your children, making sure that it aligns with the language that the school district's requirements have. So as they contract with them, they can say, okay, yes, this fits with our strategic plan. The other aspect has really elevated, and this is another area for you individually on the call, is ask your school districts if they have a strategic arts plan, because that way it doesn't become hodgepodge of, okay, well, we know so-and-so and they do this dance program, we'll bring them in, but that they have a comprehensive vision of what they want to do sequentially with every grade. And in fact, Create California has on their website some tools. So if a school district does not have a strategic arts plan, how can they start to create one? There are also on the Create website a lot of great resources about what are some other plans that other districts have done. And so what do those look like? And to look at both large school districts, but also small school districts. So for instance, Galt in Sacramento area has 7 schools versus, Sac City that might have, 80 schools. So it's a very different need and challenges that they have. So looking at those examples to then help those big and large school districts have a plan. So they're using the Prop 28 money. It's a sequential thought out process. I know that's a lot of information. Oh, you're on mute, Catherine.
Sorry, thank you. I encourage everyone, as Allison has said, she'll be sending me a lot of the information that she has mentioned throughout this call. And I invite you to reach out to me, reach out to her so that you can figure out where you fit into the puzzle that is bringing more arts education into our schools. And, find those resources, and we can both help you navigate that as well. And then as far as the calls to action, so she has mentioned that there is a desperate need for artist teachers and teachers in the arts in general. So there's opportunities for individuals to get involved that way. If you have kids in the schools and want to become an advocate for your school or your district, she has information on how you can get involved with that. I love the idea of your upcoming Heroes of Arts Education and honoring those at the Sophia here in Sacramento. So if you are based in Sacramento, I invite you to register, buy your ticket, attend the event, become a sponsor if you really want to support the work that they are doing. And then also, I loved that you mentioned the fiscal sponsor. I know so often, so many of us are doing these amazing, wonderful things, and we have ideas for projects, and it's not quite to the point where we've created our own 501c3. So the fact that you can kind of be an umbrella for that and make
Right.
some of those projects happen is a huge benefit to all of us. So thank you for offering that. So if
Yes.
any of you have questions about making that happen or project ideas that you want to get moved forward with a grant, that would be helpful, again, please reach out to Allison. Does anyone else have any more questions before we let her go? All right, so I will be sharing all the resources that she will be emailing to me. You'll have access to this replay, so if there was information that you didn't quite catch and you want to look back on, and for those of you who couldn't attend live, it will be available on my YouTube channel, on my Creatrix Art Consulting Facebook page, and then for all registered participants, you will receive the recording in your email. So yeah, feel free to respond with questions as you digest all of this information. Allison, is there anything more you'd like to leave us with while we have you
I
today?
think, yeah, if you just, if nothing else, go to our website, check out the resources that we have available, and go to Create CA's website, look for their resources. If you are part of a PTA or you know of a PTA, arts education is one of their goals and their priorities. So also you can reach out to those. As I mentioned earlier, the Prop 28 fact sheet that's on our website under resources is a great thing to download and share with your local parents and your principals. So
Beautiful.
thank you so much. Remember, arts every day for every child in every school.
Yes, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here, Allison.
All right, thanks for the opportunity. Look forward to sending you some information this week, and we'll move forward together. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Bye-bye.